Booner Pat. I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
We are back. It's crunch time. Can you hear the music, Boone?
Nope. I haven't fixed it yet. No music.
Can you hear it, Klotz?
I can hear it.
Making sure I'm not the only one listening to this music. Welcome back. Crunch Time Sports. Jeff, Booner, Lukas. Thursday, May 22nd. We got a big show planned for today. The players spoke to the media. That's always good. Hutch, he dropped the banger today. We'll get to that. And then we're having Chris Castellani on later in the show. Because, I'm excited to be able to talk to him. We're actually going to, we're talking a lot of baseball the next couple of days. The next 2 days, we have Raj on tomorrow. So, a lot of baseball here to cover. But, hey, fellas. How we doing today, huh? I like the hat, Boone. I know I've told you that before, but I like that Pistons hat. I got only a couple Pistons hats. I gotta get wherever you got that. I need one.
47 brand. I got it a while ago.
Oh, that's what mine is. The 47.
47 brand. I think they have the best hats out in the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they might.
Any hat you see on there, and the good thing about them, I guess it's not a good thing, is they rotate. They don't ever sell like the same hat twice. Like, you know what I mean? Like every year they get new hats, they update new styles. That's why I mess with them a lot. And if you don't get it, you miss out. So you better snag them. I'm doing good today though. I'm pumped up. I'm absolutely juiced up. I don't hear any music. I don't hear any air horns. So if you guys
music's gone now, Boone.
Oh, okay. So if you guys start playing some sound effects on me, I'll have zero clue. You can do whatever you want to me. No Diddy. Please don't actually. But no, I'm pumped up. Hutch today fired me up. I was absolutely juiced up for Hutch. DJ Reader spoke. Sam LaPorta, was good to hear from him. Penei Sewell. I love hearing from Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell's always he's inspiring to me. So I'm juiced up to talk to you today. And to Chris today. It's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah.
Great day, boys. Great day. Great day.
Yeah, it'll be a good show. What's going on, everyone in the chat? We got Malik in here. What's going on with you, Doughboy Steve? We got Anakin, Coach Walk. We even have Chad, the TN historian. He says, "Hiya, Booner and Lukas. ... Jeff. ...
Oh,
Man. Nah.
I agree.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
yeah, me too. Man.
AG's burner. What's going on, everyone? Let's get into it. Hey, before we get to all the press conference stuff, because we have a bunch of clips. Clips from pretty much every player that spoke today. I thought this was interesting. Barstool, Detroit. I'm going to give credit because it's there was their idea, correct? Right, Boone? The whole.
I think they must have put a poll out, or they did like some type of website or something.
This is a good combo. I like this.
Yeah.
Face of Detroit sports. They did their own little poll, and the results have been posted on our social, which, by the way, if you're not following our social, what are you doing? And it's not just Twitter, anything. Crunch, official CT Pod, just official CT Sports, all above us. But here's the results based on the people. All right. These are I can't believe Javi Baez was on here.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny, dude.
That is crazy, dude. But here's the top, what is it? Top 10, I believe.
Top 10.
Top 10, yeah. Top 10 faces of Detroit. Number 1.
Voted by the people.
Voted by the people. To no one's surprise, it is Jared Thomas. He is the face of Detroit. Scooble's up there. Cade's 4th. Hutch right behind him. You have 3 Lions guys in the top 5.
Yeah.
I guess 4 in the top 6. So a lot of Lions guys. But my question to you and the people is do you agree with this list? Is there anyone you would put higher, or maybe they're disrespecting a little bit on this list?
I would just say, I'll say this. And you guys know how big of a Jared Goff fan I am. I wouldn't have Jared Goff at number 1. If I had to vote today, I would vote Dan Campbell number 1.
Agreed.
I think Dan Campbell is the face of any type of Detroit sports right now. And you guys might disagree with me, which I really don't care.
No, I agree.
But I think Dan Campbell, at the end of the day, he came in and changed a culture, and he implemented a culture with the Lions, and it bled into every single team, which is crazy to think. And people, that's giving him too much credit. I don't think it is. Dan Campbell, I'm not saying he's the reason for all these teams' success, but when the Tigers start playing good, what did they call the Detroit Tigers? The gritty Tigers. And what did they talk about this Pistons team? How gritty this Pistons team is. Who brought the whole grit thing to Detroit? Dan Campbell did. And he was the one, a coach comes in and puts a culture in. His culture, he started putting the word grit everywhere. Like that was Dan Campbell who did that. There's coffee mugs in the building that say grit on it. You could buy hats with grit. Dan Campbell started that. And I think if you go around anywhere in the country or even in the world and talk about the Detroit sports, currently, I think right now, if you said Dan Campbell, majority of people would be like, oh, yep. Or if you ask them, they'd be like, Dan Campbell, I love that guy. Dan Campbell should be number one by a mile. And it's not close.
I agree. Like when you think of Detroit sports, when you think of, I would say the Lions are the biggest sports brand in Detroit right now. You think of, you just nailed it, Boone, grit. Think of physicality, aggressiveness. And so now you're telling me the face to represent that's going to be Jared Goff. Physical, aggressive, gritty. No. I think where Jared Goff, why he's perfect for this team, for the city, is when you look at the guys that are around him. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Taylor Decker even. They're killers, okay? They're I would say, very aggressive players, okay? They run high level. They're
physical.
Jared Goff cools it all down, makes everything flow, that keeps everything under a tight seal. He makes everything flow. Now, Jared Goff is very important, very iconic player in the city, but 100% should be Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I'm surprised you mentioned Taylor Decker.
Taylor, he's a fiery player now.
Yeah.
Like, he might be coming down on the tail end of his career, pissing me off the last 2 seasons, but there's a flag that he doesn't like. He'll let him know. Remember when he was not checking in, ineligible, whatever, the whole Dallas situation?
He was fired up.
Skip and Taylor Decker. Even Dan Skipper, that's what I'm saying. Dan Skipper will go out there and tell somebody to go fuck themselves. Jared Goff, he ain't doing that. He's telling everybody, hey, let's mellow out.
I think, to be honest, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Brad Holmes isn't on this list. He's not on this list at all. And Brad Holmes,
I just don't think like GMs would ever get. I think it's like players, coaches would get considered on this list.
Yeah, like honest. Javi Baez, like I get it, but like Brad isn't higher than like Torque. Like, come on, like, you know what I mean?
No, Red Wings players on here either.
That is
Hockey Town.
Crazy. It is Hockey Town, but that's actually.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Throw Larkin on there, maybe, but
I think if I'm being honest too, and I hope people don't hate this as much as I think they will. I think Cade's at a good spot at 4. Like I think he should be 3 or 4. I think he's working his way up there. But Skubal is literally the best player in baseball. It's like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Tarek Skubal, and then you look at Dan Campbell. He's the face. And Jared Goff's just the quarterback of your starting. Like the quarterback's always going, especially if you're a good team, whether you think he's a leader or not, your starting quarterback's always going to be if you have a good football team at the forefront. And then I think Cade's right there, right after that. So, interesting list.
Honorable mentions, you could do Dylan Larkin, Giovanni Manu. Oh
no!
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I'm sorry, you Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker. Project Martin. Yeah, like a couple of guys that didn't quite make the cut. Kendall Vildor.
Isaac Tesla.
Isaac Tesla.
Hometown kid.
Yeah, that is agreed. I completely agree with that. Hutch is on the list. And deservedly so, because fellas, he's ready to go. And he talked to the media today. He's wearing the Hutch hat. I actually got my own Hutch hat over the House of Hutch. He was rocking it today in the press conference, talking about his journey back and how he's ready to go. So let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to Hutch, man. You can hear from the horse's mouth right now.
What's the next, hurdle for you in terms of getting back to doing everything?
Fully cleared. Yeah.
Fully cleared. Hold on. Fully cleared. No setbacks for the big fella. He's ready to dominate. That's Aidan Hutchinson talking about. Fully cleared. There's no easing me in. There's no slow, give him a couple games, let him settle in. He's ready to go. And we're in May, guys. Like, that's why I'm not even thinking about it. And I brought it up last week when we talked about it. I am over because we actually had this conversation. We've had conversations like this with the chat too. It's like, what should we expect out of Aidan Hutchinson? A lot of it's like, well, Hutch is coming off a pretty significant injury. We got to give him a couple of weeks to get situated. No, there is none of that. Hutch is favorited to win defensive player for a reason, and he's ready to go. Okay. He looked at, and remember Calvin brought it up when he talked to the media too. He walked over to Hutch. He's like, you know how I know you're back? Because you're doing that. He's doing the dipping. He's dipping low. He's moving. He's moving on that leg well. So I like it. I like how, hey, Hutch, we kind of suspected it. You see the workout videos. And then you have dumb accounts tweeting out like Dove Kleiman or whoever it was saying, he looks pretty rough on that leg right now.
Oh, no. Doesn't look good.
And then Hutch comes out and he's like, yeah, I'm fully cleared. This is awesome. I love hearing it. It's confirmation of what we already kind of knew, but it's still good news.
He's back. I've been saying it for a while. There's been a lot of, when I came out, hold on. I have it here just for the whole season. Hutch for Defensive Player of the Year 2025.
Is that laminated or taped? Oh,
it's tape. It's just tape. It's tape, yeah. Well, you see for a Hutch Defensive Player of the Year 2025. Yeah. Do you guys remember a lot of the comments of people that what people had to say when I brought this up?
I do not, but I think you're gonna have to inform us there.
Do you guys remember the comments of people being like, "Oh, he's not going to be fully back. It's going to take time for him to get back." How do we know he's ever going to get back to the level that he was at before? How do you know that, Booner? Why are you so confident? There's no way he gets back to that level that he was last year. It's May 22nd. He just told us he's fully cleared. Aidan Hutchinson has 3 to 4 months to get back into game shape and get where he wants to be for the season. That is plenty of time, boys, for him to be able to get back to where he was last year and get ready to go and have a Defensive Player of the Year performance and help this team do a Super Bowl. Aidan Hutchinson there, I don't think at this point I think a lot of the people were questioning, hey, is he even going to be fully able to return to activities by August, by September? We got that confirmation in May that he's already, and it's not like he just, hey, today I'm finally cleared. He said he's been cleared for a little while now. So he's been working. And obviously he's not going to be going full pads, full of this. He's probably still going to make sure they're smart about it. But the fact he's just fully cleared by doctors, like, hey, dude, you're good to go now. Like, go work. In May, when there were people who were trying to tell us he might not be fully ready to go by September. People should be juiced up. People should be ready to go. I tweeted it out today. Klotz, do you guys remember the number that I said when I said he was going to break the sack record? 21, 22. I tweeted out today and said minimum 17 and a half. When I say 17 and a half, that's minimum. He will get to 20 plus this year. And I can't wait to watch it. I cannot wait.
Jordan Love sitting at like a 81 overall Madden rating right now, pissing himself. Caleb Williams sitting at like a 76 overall, and I mean that the confidence level isn't too high. Got a lot going on around him. He's gonna be confused. Aidan Hutchinson's gonna make the game very simple for him week 2. Okay, Ben Johnson, goofball, the dork over there on the sideline that thinks he's about to run the division. That's cute. That's real cute. Okay, but you still have Darnell Wright trying to block Aidan Hutchinson. And that's a problem. And you brought up the next one, Boone. JJ McCarthy sitting over there in Minnesota.
Right, have some respect.
I will. Going to be a very fine rookie quarterback. But now when they line up against the boys in Honolulu Blue, Boone, okay, you bet your ass. Christian Darrisaw, a very fine offensive lineman. Lions swept the Vikings without Hutch. They will sweep the Vikings again with Aidan Hutchinson and a rookie quarterback.
That's breaking news from Klotz.
No, hey, we did the record predictions. I only had to drop one game to the north, and it was to the Bears in the last week of the season.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
They got to give it their all. Lions.
Does that fire you guys up?
Yeah, no.
This guy Hutch is back. That's like the biggest piece defensively.
I have a question, and it ties. You already kind of said it, Boone, but I had a question, and I think you don't even have to answer it now. But
I'll answer it.
No, well,
I will.
I'll play this. It's Hutch talking about his confidence. He's fully back and kind of like returning to form, and then I'll ask the question. But here's Hutch talking about that and him looking like his old self.
Where you thought, okay, I am going to get back to where I was.
Say it one more time. Was there a
Has there
milestone?
been a milestone where you realize, okay, I am going to get back to where I was, or I'm feeling like this is the next step?
Yeah, I feel like my rehab, I really didn't have very many setbacks. You know, it was kind of just a steady, gradual climb. And then, yeah, I always knew I was going to be back. I mean, that was never that concern because it was just a couple of bones. But obviously, I got a little impatient with
Just
it
a couple
sometimes,
of
but,
bones.
I always knew the end was near.
What's the next, I guess, hurdle for you in terms of getting back to doing everything?
I'm fully clear.
The pace that you were on, like realizing what kind of season you were having. I mean, let's be honest, you were on an MVP, season. Is there any extra motivation having that taken away from you, the way it was heading into this year to pick up where you left off, or maybe even exceed what you were doing last year?
Yeah, I would say there's motivation not from it getting taken away, but me putting that on tape, and I had a lot of growth in those first 5 games to where I feel like you evolve as a player and things were clicking at a high level, and I had a lot of thoughts at the time that were like, if I'm thinking about a golf swing, you have the good swing thoughts going on. Like that's kind of pass rush, and I had these good pass rush thoughts, good things going on, and I feel like that's just going to carry over, and I'm going to continue to build on that. And so I think a lot of people, believe that is kind of like my ceiling, but I still believe that, I'm going to continue to push for those greater heights. And, I'm 24, I'm still a young dude. And I think I have a lot of, I don't think that's the peak. That's the point.
Okay, well, he obviously has he's not worried at all.
No, not at all. There is not one bit.
Yeah, I'm happy the rehab. He mentioned it because no one really knew anything about the rehab process, but he mentioned it's been smooth. So again, I don't think there should be
Smooth operator.
You heard it from him. Like if he's saying the rehab was smooth, I'm ready to go. I'm 100%. You know what I mean? It's May, dude. You have to remember it's May. You still have more time. Until
he can sit back, crack a beer.
Yeah, he'll be good. He'll be fine. The question I had in terms of his form and the production, and Boone already, I was gonna say over. I don't know what his over under is. I don't think that it's even out yet for sacks. I don't think it's even out. But if I were to ask you in the chat, over under 14.5 sacks.
Over.
And Boone just went 17.5. So
he said minimum. He said 17.5 minimum. That's
minimum.
Probably if Hutch gets let's say the NFL just builds, they see that he's run away with the defensive player of the year odds and they pop him for a 1-game PED suspension. Piss is clean, but there's just something he misses a game. See, that's the 17.5 situation for Booner.
Yeah, there's no way, boys, that like he's if his number's 14.5, responsibly, I'm gonna find a way to take a loan out and throw it on there.
Oh my!
Responsibly, because there's no way this guy doesn't get 15 plus. If he's healthy for 17 games, the only thing that would stop it if there's another injury, knock on wood, if he's healthy for 17 games this year, there's a 0% chance he doesn't get more than 15 sacks. Zero. There is not a thought going through my mind right now that if this man is fully healthy now in May, that he's not going to be ready to go in September and be at that level again. No way. You just hurt him. He's like, there's so many more levels for me to get to. The man got hurt in week 5? Yeah. With 7.5 sacks. And he's like, I have another level. What would make you think that he can't get to 15 this year? Seriously.
That's what I was saying, dude. Now, I don't think he's going to go out there. You think he could break the sack record this year? I don't think he's going to do all that now. But I do think I was talking to Jeff earlier. I said I think Aidan Hutchinson gets like 15 and a half sacks this year. And could he get 16, 17? Yes, I definitely think he's in that range. But to your point, if there's going to be 17 games that Aidan Hutchinson plays, and in 5 he had 7.5, that's like a 1.257689. What I don't care. That's like a very good average. Like if you subtract it down. So let's say he goes, and it happens to every defensive player, even Aaron Donald. Go for like a 2-game stretch where they are just game planning to stop Aaron Donald. Aidan Hutchinson, Aaron Donald, they don't get a sack. But now Michael Brockers for the Rams was getting a sack. There could be that. And he's still going to be on pace to get 15 sacks. So I think, to your point, Boone, if the line is anything under 15, take
it over.
Take 2, take 3, and then multiply that, invest it for like a month. And then before the season starts, go ahead and hit the over on Aidan Hutchinson. And I don't think it's like season breaking or league breaking numbers like a Michael Strahan year. You wait till Ahmad Hassanin, Tyleek Williams start getting into their prime.
Yeah,
that's when we talk about Aidan Hutchinson, Michael Strahan record.
To be fair, too, the record breaking thing. Obviously, that's just me being a little bit of having some fun. You know what I mean? Like that's not me being like
his talent too, though.
Yeah, it's not me sitting there being like, I actually think he's going to go get 22 and a half sacks. I think he's going to do that at some point of his career. He's going to push to that. That's my point in all of this. This year, though, like, let's say coming off the injury again, 15 minimum through 17 games. Jeff, I would love if you're going to take the under. I would love to hear why. And you know what? We can put a major bet.
That's not a pizza bet. That's like a steak.
That might be like a full steak.
When we go to Indianapolis, what's that steakhouse in Indy? Like
Elmo's. Elmo's. Yeah. That's built tabs on you.
I'm not going to take the under. I'm going to take the over. I think he's 15 and a half. Okay. In that range. I'm not going to say he's blowing out.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. Now, if you're one of those people like, hey, he's only going to have 10 or 11 sets. What are we doing?
9 rookie, man.
Yeah, like at this point, you're just being 1, too cautious, and 2, you obviously it's like either you don't like him or you have zero. I don't know what else to say at that point. If I'm being honest,
it comes down to you're just not confident that he's gonna He's not gonna be playing at a similar pace that he was last year. And honestly, 15 sacks, he doesn't have to play at that pace. That pace he was on pace for 20 sacks. We're not even
20 plus, like more than that.
We're not even saying he's going to play at the pace he was last year because he had a game where he had 4.5 sacks in a game. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just thinking 15 sacks. It's a little under a sack a game. You don't think there'll be a game or two where he doesn't have a sack, but you think the'll be a game where he has 2 sacks?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what I mean? It'll balance itself out. I think he gets about 15. He'll float, I think, right on that number.
15 to 17. Like, look at Trey Hendrickson last year. Hey, bad team, 17 and a half on a bad team.
Nick Bonito had 13 and a half sacks. Kyle Van Noy had 12 sacks. Jonathan Greenyard, 12 sacks. Andrew Van Ginkel, 11 and a half. Leonard Williams, 11. Dante Fowler, 10 and a half. Aidan Hutchinson is going to get 15.
15.
Yeah. That's just what if you're in that you don't want to,
and I hate that like
you don't want to. I get it, people want to be safe, but you have to think of the type of player he is. He's not a like he's in that caliber of elite pass rusher. Like he's a different. We have to start getting used to that. He's a favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. If you're going to win Defensive Player of the Year or be in the race, you have to get 15. So that's why I think he'll be in a finalist. And I think to do that, you got to get 15, man. You can't be getting 11 and a half and he's a finalist. He won't. He's not going to be that. So I think with everything he's learned throughout his first couple of years in the league, I think he's a better player. And I don't think the leg break, like we talked about this before too. It's not like Aleem tore his ACL. So Aleem coming back, it's going to take a couple weeks to even be back. And then I think it'll be a couple weeks for Aleem to be Aleem. I think a bone break as early as it was in the season, and bones, I've never broken a bone like that. I mean, he had a terrible break, but it's not quite like a ligament. It takes a little more time with the ligament. I think a bone break, as soon as it heals and he's 100% from the break, he's fine. There's not like a process of he doesn't look the same. Yeah, it'll be mental. Like he'll be thinking about
it's the biggest hurdle probably.
Yeah, it's the mental side. It's not going to be like he's limited or he's 24 years old. I could see if Hutch was 30 or 20.
Can real quick too, I want to address this. Like Shift God in the chat keeps bringing up he needs help. He needs help. Like I'm taking the under because he needs help. What did he have last year when he was on pace for 20 plus sacks?
He didn't really have a lot of help, and he played.
He has more this year. He has more help this year. Like I said, that list that I put out, 7 of the 11 guys didn't play and
more
over almost the whole game. And there's more. And you're talking about and more. So to me, it's like, first of all, he is one of the best in the entire league. Trey Hendrickson had 0 help last year and had 17.5. Aidan Hutchinson is better. He is better than Trey Hendrickson. Better.
Right.
Better. He's third in the NFL and MVP or in Defensive Player of the Year voting or odds. Third. Come on now. And Shift God, don't be delusional. I don't think if you're on the under and 15.5, you're probably the delusional one outside.
God, we see eye to eye on a lot of things, Shift God. This is one where I know that when Booner talks about a guy like Aidan Hutchinson, people can expect like that he's going to say he's the best in the world. Well, Boone isn't saying that about Isaac Tesla. He's not saying that about David Montgomery. He's not saying Jared Goff's the best in the world. But I think when you're talking about Aidan Hutchinson, yes, Booner's going to be excited, but there's a reason for that because
it's not a slappy either on that.
No.
It's like
exactly. I think a slappy would be if you came on and you were 100% serious about breaking the record.
This is the people that just have opinions about me without actually thinking, that are just instantly anything Booner says, oh, he's a slappy. No, this is actually real here. I am a slappy sometimes.
Yeah,
this guy is top 3 at his position in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll say this, man. If you think he's under, to each his own. That's fine. I just don't. I just disagree with it. I think we should be expecting Hutch to be very good this year. You know what I mean?
Even think about week 1, like the whole storyline from that game, at least for the Rams offensively, like why they were so good, because Hutch was dominant that game, but I think he only got home like once. But how quick Matthew Stafford was getting the ball out of his hand, like it was catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw. Then you see the very next week when you have Liam Cohen, very good offensive mind. He goes out there and he gets 4.5 sacks on Baker Mayfield, they ended up winning the game, Baker did. So Baker was playing a good football game. But if they didn't have Aidan Hutchinson, that game probably wasn't even close the way that the Lions are playing offensively. Go to Arizona against Kyler Murray. He's going and putting on a show there. Then they play the Cowboys, and he sacks Dak. And while he's sacking Dak, he breaks his leg. The last play of Aidan Hutchinson's season was a sack. And so I just think that, because there's some players, because I saw the comment. Let me find it real quick. I think it was from JT.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find it, but if one of you guys, if you can find it, whatever. He's talking about how we're acting like Hutch, like you can scheme for Hutch. Like, yeah, sure, you can try, but there's some players you just can't scheme for. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons. What are they called? Game wreckers. Because no matter what you do, they find a way to wreck the game. Even if Aidan Hutchinson isn't getting to the quarterback, the way that they align him, your offensive line is going to be so rearranged compared to how they normally are. And then you have Tyreek Williams, Aleem McNeil, all these other guys where they're going to help the team. Go ahead, blitz Brian Branch, blitz Alex Anzalone. They're going to find a way to create pressure. Calvin Shepard, that's one thing where, again, being a former player, that's why I do have confidence in Shep, because it's like, oh, okay, they're doing this. Let's send Jack. Let's send Brian Branch. Like, he has the on-field awareness to see if they're taking Aidan Hutchinson out of a game, how do we just keep the winning product on the field going with this defense? Because this defense is talented. I don't think it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think it's like one of the best defenses in the league, but you get a season under this team with these guys coming back next year, you're talking about the Lions, one of the premier defenses in the NFL, especially after another Brad Holmes offseason.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, listen, guys, I if I woke up this morning and thought that Hutch getting 15 sacks would be this big of a dispute, I was shocked. I mean, I didn't think 15 sacks for one of the best defensive players in the league would be that crazy. Saying Hutch getting 15 sacks is like saying Amon-Ra is going to get 1,500 yards. Is anyone shocked when I say that? No. It's just a number you think elite players can get to. Like 17 games, man. You know what I mean? They have 17 games.
It's not even one a game.
No,
it's less than one a game.
it's less than one a game. But again, you can do it. Do you think Hutch will have a game where he has more than one?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably not even probably. He will have multiple. Probably in the
So-
first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and again, if you disagree with that, that's fine. I just didn't think this would be this big of a dispute. I'm shocked.
I'm
but
happy
whatever.
it is though.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's good conversation. I just Hutch is going to get 15 sacks. I mean, I think so.
Relax. Don't be a slappy, Jeff. Come on now.
They've got him, boom.
Penei Sewell spoke to the media too. Penei Sewell went into a couple of things, talked about Hank Fraley, talked about the expectations, people talking about outside the building, probably referring to content creators like us. But here's Penei talking about Hank Fraley and him returning this offseason.
It seems like this year, nobody expects, you just wanted a team. You guys listen to that? Does that motivate you going into it?
No. I mean, at the end of the day, we control our own destiny, and that's how we operate around here. I mean, all that extra stuff, that's up to you guys. But we just put our head down and go to work, and we just build and build upon what we want and our goals, working towards our goals. So, I mean, whatever's being said out there, that's up to y'all. But it's time to go to work.
All right, that was the other clip. That was him talking about the outside noise. Those guys know. I mean, those guys see it. They're on social media. They see the shit we see. We talk about it all the time. People posting articles about the Lions regressing. They all see it. You know what I mean? They also he also this is the actual clip of him talking about Hank Fraley. This is the actual clip because he said if Detroit Lions offensive line coach Hank Fraley didn't return to Detroit, he said Penei said, I told him if he wasn't coming back, I'd retire. Here's the.
You know how bad of a day that'd be in Detroit.
Yeah, my gosh! He was kidding, if Penei retired, that's what I was thinking today. I was like, thank God the man came back, even though he was joking. It's just like, oh, that would have been tough.
Here's that clip.
One, did you do anything to make sure he came back? And two, just what does it mean having him back?
Yeah, I told him if he wasn't coming back, I'll retire. I'm kidding, but no, I didn't really do much. But I told him, man, yeah, you mean more than anything to me. He's been, we have a past and a history together from high school when he was recruiting me, when he was at UCLA. So yeah, he knows how I felt, and I'm just glad he came back.
Out of the building.
By the way, Hank Fraley. I really hope he's here for a while. I don't know the whole OC thing.
He was probably gone after this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the reality. I want him to be like Stout out in Philly. Be with the Lions for like 15, 20 years. Just be here forever.
They got to bring after Hank leaves. You remember the Browns offensive lineman coach off of Hard Knocks, and his belly would just big old boy. That's who they need to bring in to fill in. That's.
I wonder who they would bring in. I'm interested to see who the next guy would be.
It'd be another former player. I don't see Brett Brad technically.
Hey, Klotz, TJ Lang. Oh,
imagine the irony. We would never get a credential even if we tried, if that was the case.
Yeah. TJ Lang, Klotz.
I'll make a reaction video for that if that's the case.
Yeah.
Go out and prove me wrong, TJ.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Not a Super Bowl winning hire.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Dominic Raiola. That's who they need to bring in. Jim Schwartz center. Great. Oh, I used to love watching Dominic Raiola.
Yeah, Dominic Raiola would be a good one. I mean, hell, Hank Fraley, it's tough.
TJ Lang would be so funny for Klotz, dude.
Watch him on the sidelines.
Yeah,
chirping him at the games.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a tough loss. I didn't even know that Hank Fraley recruited him back in high school. I didn't know that either. Recruited him out. He was at UCLA. Recruited him to UCLA, so they have a relationship already. So now he's in the league. He's being coached by the same guy that recruited him. So it's interesting.
That is kind of crazy. He's had that relationship.
Sam LaPorta, he had some interesting things to say today too. He talked about getting the ball.
I haven't seen any of this.
Yeah, so let's play it. I might as well just play all the way through. It's 3 minutes. I mean, he talks about on his game getting the ball and then Morton's offense. I guess we'll start with one and then we'll play the next one. Let's talk about him getting the ball and kind of his mentality with that. And because I have a question for you fellas too regarding that. So, and we'll talk about it, how it pertains to maybe Jamison Williams.
Come on.
But let's play the clip. Yeah, let's play the clip. I want to ask you guys a question after it. But here's the clip of LaPorta talking about getting the ball.
Great stash.
Were you most pleased with, and then what areas do you feel like you can push the bar higher in 2025 and beyond?
I was very pleased with how my run game, the blocking came along in year 2. I felt like I was still a very polished receiver in the pass game. There was a lot of weapons last year, so I kept hearing comments maybe this offseason, like, why didn't you get the ball as much? It's like, dude, we scored the most points out of any team in the NFL in the last 5 years. Like, everybody deserves the ball. And I agree. I think I deserve the ball still, but I was very pleased with how I blocked last year in the run game. Looking ahead this year, I think just continue to polish things off in the run game, the pass game, start to see the game from the quarterback's perspective, what Jared needs exactly, and maybe not just knowing what I'm doing on the field, but what other people are doing as well, just seeing the big picture, really.
Just going on unfinished business, but describe.
All right. Sam LaPorta. He was injured last season.
Yeah.
And he still was able to get 700 plus yards. He was still able to get 7 TDs. He was still able to be really important. I think he was top 50 in catches. He had 60 catches. So it's like, okay, didn't get a ton of catches. But the reality is this. All right. LaPorta was playing with an injury pretty much all season. And once you're injured during the season, you're pretty much injured to the end of the season. So that's just how it's going to go. But this year, he's playing healthy, or he's in the offseason and he's healthy. And his mentality, I do love as a teammate. He's like, you know what? I'm not worried as much about getting the ball. Everyone's talking about why didn't he get more targets? We scored a bunch of points. He cares about winning. He's a team player. This is pretty much the same thing with all these players on the Lions. They have the same mentality. You know what I mean? They're all talking about, I don't really care as much about getting all the targets. I just want to win games, yada, yada, yada. Even though there's some players that kind of do care about that. I think LaPorta genuinely does just care about winning. And he knows in the process of winning, I will get my targets. I will impact the game. But I think it's a real question this year. Who's the second leading receiver on the Lions? Is it Jamison Williams or is it Sam LaPorta? Because LaPorta, I think, has he has the capability of being a 1,000-yard tight end. You're seeing it more in the NFL right now. Okay, he has the capability of being a 1,000-yard tight end. Jamison Williams is already an explosive player. He had 1,000 last year, and he was the second leading receiver. But again, LaPorta was a little injured. The year prior, we all talked about him potentially taking that next step and going to 1,000 yards from his 800 and something he had as a rookie. But I think this year, fellas, I think he'll inch his way closer to that mark. That's why my whole thing with J-Mo and the breakout year thing is I think J-Mo can still break out. Like I think Jeremy talks about this. He can break out and be a better, more consistent player, but I don't think he's going to have the improved production where he's at 1,200, 1,300 yards. I think it's going to be LaPorta's season, man. I think he's going to up his production, be that 800-900 yard tight end. And I think J-Mo will still be at probably around the same number he'll be at, Could he get 1,000? Yeah, but I think it's going to be a battle between those two because I think it's going to be close this year. Because Sam LaPorta, when healthy and fully functional, he can get yards after catch. He catches everything that's thrown at him. He's a safety blanket if it's not Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you got to think in a lot of these outdoor games, who they going to with the football? Besides Amon-Ra, if it's cold, it's not great weather, whatever. You have a 6'4" tight end who's a absolute reception machine. And can make you miss. So I'm excited for LaPorta. I think his production ups this year, touchdowns and yards. So I'm excited for him.
Klotz, do you want to go? Because I heard you had an opinion, and I'll say this: I agree with what Jeff had to say. I think he gets back to where he was. Does he get over that 1,000-yard mark? I don't know, because I think there are so many weapons, and as LaPorta has said today, like, hey, there's one ball, there's a lot of weapons, and I don't care what I get as long as we're winning games. I love the fact he has that mindset. And Amon-Ra's going to get his, Jameer's going to get his. And in my opinion, J-Mo's probably going to step up and get a little bit more based off of what he did last year, and an offensive coordinator who does enjoy big plays, right? Like John Morton, like he's a guy that's going to be trying to have more, and as many as we did with Ben Johnson, because he loved the big plays as well. But you're going to have that, and that's the threat he is. I think LaPorta is just with the injuries last year. I said it a million times. It felt like throughout the year, his hamstring to start the year, and then throughout the whole season, he just had little nagging injuries all season long that held him into 700 yards. I think he gets close to that 1,000-yard mark. Does he pass it? I don't know. He'll be right on the edge, and he'll have a chance to do it at some point. But I think and he said it today, like it's his healthiest off season that he has had since he's been at Iowa. So he is able to, get the rest that he needed to, get in shape but the way he wants to, that he hasn't been able to in the past. So I'm pumped up to see what Sam LaPorta does. I think he's gonna have a big year. I do.
Oh, he's gonna have a big year, fellas. And would you say, Jeff Boone, that this will probably be the best Sam LaPorta we've ever seen up to this point?
I think so.
Boone?
Yeah. Year 3, it's only going to get better.
And when Sam LaPorta was drafted, fellas, what did I say he was going to be putting on one day? Special type of jacket.
Putting on a gold jacket. You said it before he was drafted.
Sam LaPorta is a gold jacket type of player. Okay? And when I see a gold jacket type of player in one of the best offenses in the NFL, and there are a lot of weapons, but that means that gold jacket player is going to look like a gold jacket player. And when I agree with you, Boone, John Morton's going to be airing that bitch out. He's going to be trying to hit J-Mo, big plays. Let's not forget as well, Sam LaPorta on those trick plays, a lot of the time is wide open down the field for a 50-yard touchdown. We've seen him multiple times against the Saints. We've seen it against the Bears. We've seen him multiple times, Packers. But this is why I think he's going to have a huge year, because now he talked about that timing with Goff. That chemistry is going to be clicking. The deep shots are going to be there. Sam LaPorta, I think, is going to be in a situation where he's probably, what do you have, like 60-something catches last year? He's going to get around 80 catches this year. And what he's going to be able to do healthy, starting off the season. My favorite thing about Sam LaPorta is what he does after the catch, because he is just a bully. If there's a safety there, he's stiff-arming it. If there's a corner there, he might even juke him out of his shoes. But I remember watching that Seattle Seahawks game, his rookie year, and him slipping by 2 linebackers and picking up 15 extra yards. And that has never faded away. When we watched that Washington Commanders game in the playoffs, he made probably the catch of the year, at least for the Detroit Lions, going out with one hand and the Gronk brace on his elbow and pulling it in for a touchdown. I think Sam LaPorta will be second in the team in receiving yards. I think he gets close to 1,000. I'll even give him the shove. I think 1,000-yard season loading for Sam LaPorta. I think J-Mo his numbers do dip. But I think, again, like we were talking about Jeremy, he looks like a more polished wide receiver. And I think that obviously the big plays are going to be going to J-Mo. But when I look at Sam LaPorta this year, Jeff brought up the point, and I agree with it 100% earlier. When I look at Sam LaPorta, J-Mo's definitely going to have a couple 100-yard games. But I could see J-Mo going for 100 yards, then 30 yards. I think Sam LaPorta is going to be somebody that every week is giving you 40 to 50 yards, and he's going to have a game or two where he gets close to 100. But when you add up those 40 yards, 50 yards, it's going to add up to over 1,000 yards. As long as he stays healthy, Sam LaPorta will have 80 catches, 1,000 yards, and probably somewhere around 10 touchdowns, which I think will be second in the team. I could be wrong. J-Mo could have more, but I think Sam LaPorta,
No. You stand on it. Don't caveat it with I could be wrong.
There's no way Jameson Williams, the former 12th overall pick, who just had 1,000
you don't have
yards.
to say that. Just you say what you say.
Stand on it.
I think that's what I'm saying though. Like, am I going to be mind blown if J-Mo gets it? No. But if I had to pick one of the two, I'm taking Sam LaPorta. Give me LaPots.
I don't think that's crazy. I think it's close. Close. I don't think it's crazy to say it. If it was more of a discrepancy, I would say you're crazy. But I think it's probably going to be 150, 200 yards.
I just don't see it. And this is in Klotz, I'm with you. Like, I think there's a chance you see him get 1,000. I think there's a better chance of seeing 3 players on this team get 1,000 than there is Sam LaPorta to pass J-Mo in yards. Like that's a more realistic to me conversation to have. Like, hey, there's going to be 3,000-yard, pass catchers on this ball club this year, and that's based on, like, last year could have happened if LaPorta wasn't hurt all year. But and it's like how does all the passes go around, the yards go around? I don't know. We can figure that out down the line. But
I got to stop you there. It's definitely way more of a less chance that you get 3,000-yard receivers.
I mean,
than
he was
passes J-Mo.
He was 200 yards off last year, and he was hurt.
Yeah, but so you're telling me it's more likely it's less whatever how you phrased it. It's less of a crazy possibility that they get 3,000-yard receivers over just LaPorta getting more yards than J-Mo.
I don't see a world. I think there is a very slim chance that J-Mo regresses this year, and J-Mo doesn't have more than
you don't think statistically
1,100 yards. Not at all. He's only going to get better. He had only 60 catches last year, and he only played in 15 games. And he's a deep ball guy. Like, not even a deep ball guy. He's a big play guy. Like, J-Mo could have the ball in his hands, touch the ball once, and get 80 yards. So it's like a guy that has that big playability. That Sam LaPorta, he can make big plays. We've seen him get 60-yard touchdowns, but it's like open field where no one's around him. It's scheme drawn up. J-Mo could have someone tackling him behind the line of scrimmage, break a tackle, and runs 50 yards for a touchdown. Like, we've seen that. So to me, it's like, hey, J-Mo is a guy who he's going to get 1,000 this year. Like, there is no doubt in this world, unless there's an injury or he doesn't play in every game, that Jameson Williams doesn't crack 1,000 yards this year. So if you're talking about, hey, LaPorta's going to have more than him, the only way, in my opinion, that LaPorta could do it is to get over 1,000 and pass J-Mo up that way. But there's no I don't see a world we live in where J-Mo doesn't crack 1,000 yards this year. Like, I would be shocked if he regresses and doesn't hit 1,000.
But how about this?
That would be shocking.
But it's like the Amon-Ra thing. Do you think Amon-Ra regressed last year?
Yeah, but I think there's a difference from 1,500 because 1,500 yards, I mean, that's 2 or 3 guys a year.
But everyone has their own cap. Like,
yes, but
numbers 1,500, not cap.
15.
But it's like,
I think J-Mo's cap. I think J-Mo could have a 1,200 yard. We haven't seen J-Mo's cap yet. Like, look at Amon-Ra from year 1 to year 2 to year 3.
17 1 year. Shit, he's that
he
good.
could for sure, but the thing is, it's like, look at J-Mo is just going into his like really real second year, and look at Amon-Ra, his first year, second year. He got better, and I understand there's a lot of weapons, but J-Mo's going to get 60 touches again. He will. He's going to touch the rock 60 times. He's not going to die or regress in yards with those. Like, if anything, it's going to go up more because he's going to have opportunities at bigger plays. He's a year in. Jared Goff, Klotz, one of the conversations Klotz brought up, or points he brought up, was, hey, another year for Jared Goff and LaPorta to kind of click together and really get into this offense. Another year for Jameson Williams and Jared Goff to connect.
Easier to get the ball to. Like, when I look at LaPorta,
the guy that can get open with his speed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, like LaPorta, Jet Klotz
catches, and that like what he can do after the ball, like what he's
I get
not
what you're
going to
saying,
break
but
open for 50
he
yards.
can't do what J-Mo does after the ball.
But J-Mo can't do what LaPorta does either. Like, if there's a linebacker in Sam LaPorta's face, he's going to stiff arm him to the ground. J-Mo's going down, and you're going to get.
But he's going to get 15 yards instead of 70.
You can get 80 yards from one J-Mo play. I absolutely agree. But you're also going to get 90 yards from 5 Sam LaPorta catches, if that makes sense. Like, when you look at Sam LaPorta, if it's 3rd and 2. You dump it off to Sam LaPorta,
and he gets you 7 yards.
Here he takes a jump, but that adds up over the course of a season.
Okay, that adds up. But Klotz, hold on. But J-Mo, it adds up. Him getting multiple catches for 50, 60, 70 yards compared to Sam LaPorta, 7, 15, 12, 13, 21. He's not going to go out there every other play and get you a 50, 60-yard catch.
But J-Mo every game
it's
is not
so
going to
different.
go out there and give you a 50, 60-yard catch either.
How?
He did it. Like, J-Mo.
He had over 1,000 last year. He had the most.
But we're acting like every game he went out there and gave you 50 yards.
No,
J-Mo
we're not. But
like
you're acting.
Yards,
I'm not arguing. Let's civil here. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, we are. We're going back
it's just a law. It's like averages, guys. It's the same argument. Lucas, you bring up and I agree with it. Like, he'll have 100 yards and then 30 yards. Okay, what's the average of that? Same as 50 and 50, pretty much. It's close.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess the average is like that's why I don't think it's like I think it's close. Like, that's why I'm not really too.
I don't think so. I think J-Mo's going to go clear. He's going to clear 1,000. If you think Sam LaPorta is going to get 1,000 this year, you have, like, in my opinion, it's the statement of, hey, there's going to be 3,000-yard pass catchers on this team, and it just there's no way that a guy that averages 17 yards a catch isn't going to get 1,000. Whether he regresses and gets 15 yards a catch, he's still going to go out and get it. That's a lot compared to LaPorta.
This year, they were basically 200 yards away. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think they'll be about 200 yards away. Because, like, if you're talking about there's only, like, how many yards is Goff going to throw for? Probably 4,500. So when you factor in like all these new names, like you have Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla, you have Jameer in the passing game, you got LaPorta, J-Mo, and Amon-Ra. I think Amon-Ra, my take on Amon-Ra this year, like I think he gets back to kind of that 1,100 I think he improves from last year. So it's like someone's touch has got to be taken away.
I just can't. I get what you guys are saying, and listen, like this is where it's like I think Sam LaPorta has a better year and he improves and he gets back to where he was his rookie year. I agree with that. It's just when you look at they're different types of players. One is a playmaker, and the other one, he makes plays, but he is a reliable, and he's going to get you 40, 50 yards a game. But the other guy, Sam LaPorta this year had more catches than J-Mo, and J-Mo had 300 more yards. So it's like whether even if Sam LaPorta goes out there and gets 15 more catches this next year than J-Mo, it's going to be like, yes, I'm with Jeff. All right, it might be closer. J-Mo's still going to, with limited catches, going to go out there and get 1,000 yards. He had more catches than Jamison Williams last year and had 300 less yards. It has nothing to do with the player you are, if you're bad, if you're good, nothing. It's just like they're two different styles of players. J-Mo is just J-Mo's a big play guy to where even if J-Mo every other game went out and got 70 yards every other game, that almost like, what's the math on that? What's 70 times, let's say 10 games? That's 700. And he's going to get more than that. So I get what you're saying, Klotz. Like, I just respectfully disagree. I think there's a 5% chance of that happening.
5%'s crazy. I agree with you though. I agree that J-Mo's second. I just
feel bad, but
I wouldn't say there's a 5% chance. I
want Klotz. I feel bad because I love LaPorta. I think I'm with you. He's gonna have a big year. I do think he has a huge. I think he's gonna be an All-Pro this year again.
And this will be my final point because we're like you said, Boom, we agree to disagree. But I just can't get over the fact like we're all saying LaPorta is gonna have a better year. And the Lions had a top 5 offense over the last 20 years. Like offensively, the numbers are going to go down. Doesn't make them bad. I don't think they have offensively the yards that they had last year. But if Sam LaPorta is going up, and I think again he was banged up, so his like game log for the first half of the season, like you can look at not just you, but anybody. You look at 35 yards. If that's healthy, he's probably getting 60 yards that game. But when you look at Sam LaPorta going up, that's going to take away not only from Amon-Ra, not only from Jahmyr Gibbs there, it's going to take away from J-Mo as well. So that's why I think there is a chance of Jamison Williams going from 1,000 yards to 920, and you see Sam LaPorta go up about 200 yards again, because it's not all just going to come straight from J-Mo. But I do think, especially in the red zone, Sam LaPorta is going to eat touchdown-wise, but I do think there's going to be plays where now that J-Mo, like you know that he's a legit threat, those safeties are going to move back. That's going to help out Sam LaPorta.
I'll just say real quick, Boom.
I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't.
I'll just be honest with you. Keep it 100%. He ain't getting all pro unless he gets 1,000. He
had all pro at like 800 or 900.
Different
rookie.
Different. George Kittle, Brock Bowers only.
I think he gets a lot of touchdowns this year.
That would have to be the route because I
think he gets a
lot
of touchdowns
get all
this
pro
year.
Getting like 800 yards, 750.
I think he gets back to his rookie year. The J-Mo. He's not going to go under 1,000 this year. There's no way a year 3 guy that's looking to take a step forward regresses. There's just there's no way. And especially with the plays that they draw up for him, what he is for this offense. Klotz, to your point, they start putting the safeties back. Okay, LaPorta starts doing good. Amon-Ra starts cutting them up. Other guys start to. Now you have to take into account to those guys. Jahmyr out of the backfield. So now that leaves J-Mo open. That's why this offense is so good, is because, hey, you can't guard everyone. At some point, these guys are all going to rotate and be open. And I just don't see a world J-Mo regresses. I hate it, Klotz. The reason I'm so frustrated about it, it's not even the fact that you're having the statement on it. It's the fact that I agree with you. He takes this big step forward this year, but you're taking it to such a high extreme that you're saying J-Mo is going to regress. That I can't.
Statistically,
I can't get behind that.
Don't say J-Mo's going to regress. Say J-Mo's numbers.
He is. He will regress. You guys did this to me.
That's where
you can't do
that. Jeff, you did this to me when I said regress about a different player, and I said the numbers are going to go down, and you go, "Well, that doesn't count."
No, then I was wrong.
Regressing.
I don't.
Oh, now you are when it's Klotz on the arm. Okay.
No, stop doing that. Amon-Ra didn't regress, did he?
Who?
No,
he didn't, but
didn't we agree? Like, what are we
the
doing?
numbers regress. There's regression in the numbers.
That's it.
I mean, earlier in this argument, you literally said he's going to regress. I can go clip it. You literally said that.
I said Jameson Williams will regress.
Klotz said the year's going to be a regression. Just your stats are regression.
Number wise, yes, but not as like a player.
Yes, that's what I'm. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I just want to get that clear. I just want to make sure we're getting that clear.
Yeah,
that's
I thought you meant regress. I just heard regress. That's why when I say that, it's like the same thing with the Lions.
Klotz has said it in this argument a couple times now. He said numbers will regress.
There you go. Numbers will regress. It's the same thing. Like, for example, if people mention the Lions, if they're like they'll regress, no, they won't. The wins will regress. Okay, fair. Like, I don't think like you got to be context because when you say regress about something, yeah, I get it. It sounds like you're saying they get worse.
Get what you're saying.
The tone, Boone. I didn't like the tone there. Said it.
Statistically wise, you think he's going to regress.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I just don't like the fact that, like, I can agree with you on that, but the fact that you're using the argument that Jama will regress in that sense, it's just, to me, it's. I think that's the kind of tough part to wrap my head around.
Well, DJ Reader spoke as well. I'm going to get to DJ, and then we'll get to some over-unders, and then we got Chris joining. So DJ Reader talked about Tyleek, the rookie. Let's hear what DJ Reader had to say about it.
Tyleek, and then he's really physically gifted. I mean, what's the ceiling for a kid like that?
Sky's the limit. He's a good kid, and he's pretty smart. He sits beside me in meetings, so it's cool to just hear his answers. He doesn't talk very loud, but he knows the answer to the question. So me being a vet, sitting beside him, it's always fun. Just watching the rookies kind of be like, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm like, who cares? Like, we're in a room, so it's been fun. Just sitting there watching him talk about it. But he really, really smart. He picks up the playbook really well. Can't wait to get to see him moving around and just see what's going on. I watched him a little bit at Ohio State. I was just really impressed with his game. Go ahead. You're good. I can stop right there. I can leave it right there.
You're probably gonna get something great. Yeah, I was just gonna ask first impression of Casey.
It's cool because my college coach and my coach in Cincinnati when I was there, Marion Hobby, him and Casey really close. So it's like having a mirror and brother of Hobby over here coaching me, and it's a coaching style I really like. He's a teacher, wants to make sure you know every detail of what he wants you to do before he's asking you to do it. And I think for a player like me, that helps a lot because you know like what you can do within the system and what you can't do. It doesn't create much of a gray area for you. It doesn't teach you to be a robot, but it also lets you know where you got to be and however you get there is how you get there. So it's been fun talking to him. And he's a pretty honest guy. I like that he's very honest, open, and talks to us just about life. It's been fun.
Tyleek, he's coming for that spot. I'm telling you right now. And I've said it already. By the end of the year, as much as I love DJ Reader, and I think there'll be rotation, it's going to be Aleem McNeil and Tyleek lining up next to each other.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think those two end up playing next to each other at the end of the year. I think you'll see DJ Reader, but I think he's a solid player. He had a good year last year, but Tyleek, I think that high of him that by the end of the year you'll have those two starting, playing together, and then DJ will be in a rotation playing. But Tyleek, I just think at this point in his career, what he can bring to the table, he's a rookie, but he ain't gonna play like a rookie. I'll tell you that. That's a big man, and he's in great shape. I'm not trying to glaze Ohio State, but he's a great
Buckeyes,
player.
they put out NFL product. Don't you worry, Hefe. Yeah, I would say better than the Wolverine product in the NFL currently. The Buckeyes dominated, I'd say, especially at skill positions. Not even close. Offensive lineman, fine. We'll put out Josh Simmons.
There we go.
Graham. That's fine. We'll put out the Bosa brother.
You left out the guy that you liked.
Kenneth Grant is a dog.
And you left out the best player on our defense.
We don't consider it. He's not. I wouldn't consider him a Michigan Wolverine. I'd consider him just a very good college football player.
What did he do versus Ohio State? What did he do versus Ohio State?
He lost before, too.
No. What did he do his last year? What did he do?
He won.
And how did he play?
Really good.
Okay. Case closed.
Colson Loveland's a Michigan Wolverine, though. Dude's going to get beheaded by Dan Jackson. Probably during the preseason. Ben Johnson's going to be trying to run.
What does Jeff say? What does Jeff say?
Caleb Williams is the best quarterback on earth.
Got to see it.
Yeah, with Colson Loveland, you do.
I don't say that. I don't say that, dude. This guy keeps saying that, dude. It's funny you said it a lot the last couple of days, huh? You've been
I'm learning from. I don't. It's not just me. Klotz has said it a couple times too.
It's a normal thing
because
to say.
it's a
This is a
common
new.
thing.
Yeah,
there's definitely situations where you got to be like, hey, gotta see it. Start talking to a girl. You gonna put a ring on that finger first? You gonna buy her flowers first? No, you got to see it a little bit. You got to see how the situation's playing out. Boom! Stop in the chat.
I know. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to offend him. Yeah, but I think Tyreek. Listen, I think Tyreek's going to be a great player. I think he starts in front of DJ at the end of the year. I love DJ. I wouldn't cut him. I think people that mention that's probably a little ridiculous. The depth is very solid.
Oh, we did have.
Yeah, you can save money if you cut them. They're not going to do that. They'll let them play. It's good depth. You know what I mean? At this point, so they'll be playing next to each other. And he also mentioned Levi Onwuzurike. I'm not going to play the clip, but he said Levi Onwuzurike is a really good player. He did say that. So maybe the depth thing you're talking about.
He didn't say just really. He said really good player.
We hyped up Levi for out of that DJ Reader count. So that's what we've come to with Levi O. DJ Reader, really good player. Hype him up. DJ Reader, though, I think you'd be on Toledo grade crack if you want to cut DJ Reader at this point, because Boone, you'll like this take. DJ Reader, if you have him on the rotation, without a doubt, and I'm trying to think, maybe there's some young pup who just got drafted in the second and third round laying on some roster that I can't think of right now. The best third string defensive tackle in the NFL. That's a guy that had, if you can run, this goes into Booner's argument with this defensive line point from the other day, but if you can run 5 defensive linemen and 4 out of the 5 are Aidan Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, and Tyreek Williams. Good fucking luck trying to run the football. It's not going to happen. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be 4th and inches at the 1 yard line again, and they're going to have to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, and it won't work. And if you can, oh my goodness, a fresh DJ Reader, let the offense go down the field. Let's say again, Justin Jefferson. He's going to be Justin Jefferson. Makes an incredible catch to set him up inside the 20. That's now where, inside the 20, they talk about all the time. It's the hardest position on the field to score from because everything's so compact. DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, and Tyreek Williams straight in the grill of a quarterback. Good luck. And there comes Levi O.
That's one of the
Levi O.
That's one of the things that I said with that tweet that and I was texting Jeff about this. A lot of people misunderstood, saying, "Oh, Booner, you're saying the best." It wasn't the best. It's to me, it's underrated and kind of deep, but if healthy, and then I had talked to someone about it as well. You have one of a top, let's say 5 edge rusher in the NFL, and on top of that, you probably have a top 5 interior defensive line if healthy. And and to me, it's not close. Tyreek, Aleem, and DJ Reader, take those top 3, 1, 2, 3, put them up against any other top 3 in the NFL. Do it. There's probably 2 or 3 maybe D lines that you can sit there and be like, oh yeah, they're right there. The Eagles, maybe the Ravens,
Rams,
maybe the Bucks, but if you're talking about, they're probably a top 5 if fully healthy. If Aleem's healthy and Tyreek ends up being what people think he can be, and you have DJ Reader, it's there. And that's why I'm pumped up to see Tyreek, because we kind of have a feeling, and Klotz, obviously you're an Ohio State guy and you've been big on Tyreek. We have an idea of what he can be, but just because we feel like we know what he can be, his ceiling could be way more higher than we even think. Think about what they did with Aleem over 2 or 3 years. Tyreek, they're saying, is already there. Now let him get 2 or 3 years under his belt and see how good he can get. And I think that's what's pretty exciting to see.
He's sacking that quarterback, Boone.
Yeah, he definitely. Don't watch what you say about the pass rusher. I think he's got some upside there. Don't.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll get right back into a little argument.
Boone doesn't think he can get after the quarterback.
Klotz, you understand what I was saying? Hold on, you understand what I was saying, right?
Yes.
His I'm trying to think of a good example.
His forte.
Yes. When you make a mold in college football or in NBA, he is a run stopper first with a high ceiling at getting after a quarterback. That was the point.
I like the way you articulated that, Boone.
Thanks.
You could have done it the first time.
I did. I think you were just so pumped up that we got Tyreek that you just didn't hear it. which is okay.
I think that was like a couple days after we were getting into.
It was day 2. You came in on day
like
2, day 2 of the draft. I said that.
I don't like it.
Yeah, they go like, yeah, it happens. Yeah, I mean, it happens. By the way, I want to break down this PFF article, but we're not going to do it today. But can I show the top 8 ranking list?
Oh, I think we're not breaking it down today.
Well, the article is a whole nother thing. It's great.
Okay,
it's a great
that's
article.
Fair. That's fair.
It goes into like tiers and it's cool. It's really.
If I'm being honest, based off of you can pull up the graphic because once you see the graphic, and then I think if you read the article, it makes a lot of sense actually. Like it does where guys land and where they are.
PFF ranked top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL. And Jared Goff is not on this list.
MIA.
Yeah, they got Patrick Mahomes 1, 2 Joe Burrow, 3 Lamar Jackson, 4 Josh Allen, 5 Jalen Hurts, 6 Jane Daniels, 7 Matthew Stafford, 8 Justin Herbert.
Hurts over Goff. Huh?
I think in my opinion, Hurts is
5. It's crazy.
Hurts over Jane Daniels, huh?
He's too high.
Hurts being 1 behind Josh Allen is insane. Josh Allen is that much better than Jalen Hurts. I get it. You won a Super Bowl. You can be in the top 10 to get your credit. Great quarterback. And what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, what are those leader, game manager of a game, Tom Brady-esque, where it's like, hey, we're going to go win this game. I'm going to lead us there. Top 10 in the quarterback conversation.
Top
for
1
sure.
at post-game speeches as well.
Yes. But if we're talking guys like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen, he shouldn't be in that conversation. And Josh Allen being at number 4, John Costco should be, I don't know if it's Costco, like the Costco guys, but he should be in jail for this.
Where would you put Josh Boone?
Probably number 2. Mahomes has to be 1. If we're just talking pure quarterbacks, he's the best in the game right now. Josh Allen's number 2 though, after last year. And then Lamar and then Joe.
Oh, you can't have
Well,
Joe.
I just think Lamar because he has back-to-back MVPs. I think Joe Burrow's it's so close to Klotz. I don't care if you can have Burrow at 1, and I'm not going to argue you.
I think the top 4 is how it should be. Not in rank. I don't care about the ranking. I'm just saying names. I think those are the 4.
There. Down, boy.
Roser Good boy. Get the fuck out of here.
Good boy. No, I said down, boy. As you said, I think the top 4 are good. And you said, and then at first you stopped, and then you go, but not the order. And I go, okay, good boy. Down, boy. Good boy.
Yeah, the top 4 names are good. I'm cool with the top 4 names. That's how it should be. Now, after that, like Hurts, too high. You know, Jane Daniels, you could argue, could be above Hurts as a quarterback. I wouldn't hate that take. And then Stafford, I'm sorry, Stafford's not 7.
Yeah, he should be higher than that.
No, he should.
Name me 7 better quarterbacks than Matthew Stafford in the NFL right now.
I think Stafford.
I'm not even the Stafford guy on this show.
No, and I love dude.
Where would you put Stafford? Generally, who would you put over Stafford?
I would put Herbert in front of Stafford at this point. I would put Goff in front of Stafford at this point. I would put, I think Stafford. Let me tell you this. He's top 10. He's top 10, but top 7? No, he's not. He's not.
By the way,
he's not. And this is coming from one of the biggest Stafford slappies in my life. I mean, I love Stafford, but let's keep it a stack right now. He's 37 years old. You know what I mean? He has flashes.
Is old.
He shows flashes of Stafford. He shows the Eagles game, Stafford. But then there's a stretch of games where he has 2 touchdowns. Like, are we going to keep glazing someone?
So
based
what
on
happened when they start out? What did they start out? Like 1-3? And then they go to the playoffs without Puka Nacua for the largest stretch of the season? And then Cooper Kupp goes down?
Because what Stafford was is Stafford always used to throw picks. And that's fine. Like, I never had a problem with that. He threw a bunch of pick sixes the year they won the Super Bowl, but he had 40 TDs. Look at the production. You telling me that's top 7? Really?
It did cut in half. Touchdown-wise, his touchdowns did.
Do we not remember week 1 when they literally had Jonah Jackson at center and they couldn't even throw the ball down the field? They go ding, 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 ding the whole game. And Matthew Stafford carved up. He cooked up. Is that not Matthew Stafford? The last game of the season gave the Eagles a run for their money. If they would have played again, who knows?
He shows flash.
So we're acting like this is Drew Brees when he was on his last leg, or Aaron Rodgers when he was in New York. Like, no, this is not the quarterback that we're talking about. We've seen quarterbacks lately, like even Aaron Rodgers, like when he was on his before he started falling apart in New York. Like Aaron Rodgers was a good quarterback all the way into his late 30s, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Stafford, same type of pace that Aaron Rodgers is on, just didn't have the hype going into his prime. Like Aaron Rodgers went into Green Bay, won right away. Matthew Stafford was in Detroit, had a sit, but Matthew Stafford is a top 7 quarterback in the NFL still. Name me 7 more. Give me 7.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying he should be 16th. I'm saying he's top 10, but he shouldn't be 7. He's too high.
So who would the 7 be?
I told you I would take Herbert right now. I would take Goff right now. I mean, shit. Now you're getting into like other quarterbacks right now. I mean, you can make some arguments. I mean, I don't know if I'd be confident making them, but he's in that tier with like Baker Mayfield.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You want to disrespect Baker? Go ahead. Right now. I mean, let's keep it a stat, Klotz, because I'm a Stafford guy, but we're thinking of 37-year-old Stafford, who last year through the first 6 weeks had 3 touchdowns, 3 picks.
What happened week 1?
But he had the throw. Like, no, dude.
No, he quite literally did not have an offensive line, which affects Kyron Williams or Puka Nacua. He's throwing to Cooper Kupp, who was quite literally in his last year. Like, it was not Cooper Kupp anymore.
You know what?
He was throwing to Tyler Johnson. And you're going to look at 3,900 yards? No way, that's Matthew Stafford.
Klotz, you know what, Klotz? You're so right. Let's go to the last 3 games of the season where he had 1 touchdown and 1 pick, and they didn't score over 20 points. Can we bring that up or no?
So we've never seen a great quarterback throw 1. Go look at Patrick Mahomes' season this year, my friend.
But Mahomes
multiple.
Don't do that.
But you look at the yard. He did throw for 4,000 yards. That's not
Mahomes. Though. Come on.
That's not Mahomes. You know why Patrick Mahomes didn't throw for that many yards? Because he had hurt wide receivers and Rashee Rice. His wide receiver went down. Relying on a rookie wide receiver. No run game.
I think Stafford at this point has flashes. Like he'll have a game against the Vikings where he has 4 touchdown passes. Then next week, 0 TDs, a pick.
But here's the thing with Stafford: his flashes look like he's a top 5 quarterback. His other games looks like a top 10 quarterback. You average it out. If he has 5 games where he looks like a top 5 quarterback and 5 games where he looks like a top 10 quarterback, where does that fall in between?
I'm sorry. I think, and this is again coming from. Me and Adam watched the Super Bowl. We were happy. We got a lot of shit for rooting for him to win a Super Bowl. But the reality of it is this, man. It's let it go. Like let it go. He's not Super Bowl Stafford anymore.
What are we talking about?
He's not Super Bowl Stafford anymore.
He's not prime Stafford, but let's stop acting like he's Jets Aaron Rodgers or like last life on his leg and Drew Brees. Peyton Manning in Denver when he couldn't throw the ball 20 yards with a spiral if he wanted to.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
And he won a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning did.
Okay. I listen. I love Stafford. I don't think he's 7. I'd probably put him 10. It's a couple spots. I mean, I'm not saying the guy stinks. I just think he's like to say he's above these other guys that are in their primes that are playing like putting up the numbers.
Justin Herbert threw, I believe, 16 touchdowns last year.
Who?
And shit the bed in the playoffs.
Who?
Justin Herbert.
No, listen. You want to bring up Justin Herbert?
Numbers? That doesn't look like Justin Herbert.
Numbers factor into it. Like you could bring up last year for Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert in those games, like let's talk about the offense last year for them. You want to bring up he didn't have the weapons. Ladd McConkey, really? That's all he had. Seriously.
Okay.
Ladd
so
McConkey's great. But let's look at this multiple seasons before that where Herbert had like 35 TDs. I mean, we're going to bring that up.
Matthew Stafford. Let's look at the seasons prior where he's still looking damn good.
All right. I'm sick of this, man.
Go ahead,
I just want to.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to talk about this conversation. I will say this first statement. I enjoy being on the other side of not arguing for once. Kind of sweet. Not going to lie. Might try to do it more often.
I'm happy for you. You could probably use the de-stress.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd take Goff right now over Stafford. I just would. I would.
You have 1 year to win a Super Bowl, Jeff, on this Detroit Lions roster. 1 year. No further. You're looking at 2025. You taking Jared Goff or Matthew fucking Stafford?
That's not the question.
Oh no, that was kind of like a breaking point right there. That was a good question. That was a
not
really
what
good
we're
question.
talking about because
That was such a great question.
No,
Klotz kind of just killed you.
No. He did not. He did not. Klotz, let me break this down for you. Are you telling me?
Such a good question.
No, hold on. Are you telling me I have to choose between Goff or Stafford for one game?
I said 1 year. 1 year. 1 year to win a Super Bowl. 2025. This upcoming year. Goff or Stafford?
1 year?
1 year.
At this point in their career?
Yep. This year. That'd be this
Give
upcoming
me
season.
your dollar.
I mean, shit, man. I think it's close. I wouldn't be mad. I mean, Goff's playing better right now. He is.
Yeah, I don't think it's an idiotic take for either.
He's playing better right now.
So you're
and
taking
I know people
Goff.
are going to bring up the game against the Commanders, which I think is okay. That's fine. But people act like Stafford's still prime Stafford. He's not. I think it's and by the way, if I have Stafford at 9-10, I think Goff's like he's in that same range. So they're about the same type of player. Like I like
who are you? We need an answer. Goff or Stafford?
He is kind of
because I know
walking
for a fact
around
we've had
this.
this same conversation, and
He's
I know
walking around this.
We have all had this conversation after this season. And
yeah, you know what? I'd probably take Stafford. But hold on,
that's it. Argument's over. It's dead.
I'd probably.
The argument's over. Hey, I real quick, Jeff. That was a great battle. You took one there. Took a loss there.
I still think Stafford's. He's not quite what he was. But yeah, you're right. Like in those moments, I give it to you. Like Stafford's, he's great in those moments. But over a season, playoffs, I do want Stafford. I do. Like, let me get Goff regular season and then Stafford in the postseason.
Yeah, fair.
That's what I would want. Go ahead, Booner.
Can I just say something about Stafford? Because this conversation reminded me of a thought that I had driving home again. You guys know my drive thoughts. Klotz, and I'm not arguing with you on this. I'm just, as a friend, I'm giving you a really big warning. I had a thought process that could really derail your Rams take.
What?
Matthew Stafford gets hurt quite a bit. And
go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you had to pick any quarterback in the NFL that it's like, hey, who has the highest percentage in the NFL to get an injury and miss games? Matthew Stafford's at the top of that list to me. So that's where I'm like 49ers to win the division. I'm taking the 49ers still. And I just thought about that because I was like, I wouldn't be shocked at all if we at 6 games into the season and Stafford has like a broken hand and is like out for the next 10 weeks. Like that would not
Jimmy G.
I would
and if Stafford gets hurt and you guys want to use you said the Rams, Stafford gets hurt, that's fine. But I'm gonna give you a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. This missed a lot of time, Boone. Joe Burr. Multiple knee injuries, but you're still taking him twice.
No. I'm not talking about top 10 quarterbacks. Did they make the playoffs last year though? Did they make the playoffs? No, the
he's talking about what could hold.
I'm talking about holding them back from winning their division and getting the 1 seed. Like you keep saying they're going to have the 1 seed.
That's the case, and I understand.
I was thinking about it, and in my mind, I was like, if Stafford that's part of you being wrong. Because that has to be considered when you say they're going to get the 1 seed, is there's a chance he gets hurt. And if he gets hurt and they don't get the 1 seed, we could still be like, Klotz, you were dead wrong. Because I wanted to warn you now. That's part of it.
Well, when Devontae Adams is getting open in 3 seconds.
Yeah, no, I think it's 100%.
Okay. Because I don't want to get into December and him be like, oh, I wasn't wrong because I lost Staff. No, that's part of you standing on that take. Yeah, because he is probably one of the bottom tier quarterbacks when it comes to injury, to where he has the highest chance of getting injured and missing games. Even though he's played quite a bit, I looked it up. He's played quite a bit over the last few years, but he will get injured and it'll affect his game. This will happen. He's older. He's 37, 38. He could get hurt in a week and he's out for 5 weeks. So I just wanted that out there. I still am going to stand on the 49ers winning that division. And it's based off, I feel like Stafford gets hurt this year. And I think the 49ers are back.
I'm picking
right,
the Rams,
that's all.
but I agree with you 1,000%. That's part of the risk picking the Rams, though. I acknowledge that. I mean, it literally happened last year. I picked the Rams, but the 49ers were derailed with injuries. It doesn't really matter, you know what I mean?
And
It
you can't, yep.
It happens, you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess we're waiting on Chris. I know he's the Tigers game.
Yeah,
wrapped up.
we didn't have a specific time for him. When I spoke with him, I texted
Should we
him
bring up
about
the
it.
article then? Should I just bring up the quarterback article? Because I have it. Or should we just save it?
I mean, we could bring it up. We won't get all the way through it, but
Yeah, it'd be a good combo
he's
for
probably doing his post-game video right now, and then he said he's going to hop on right after Tigers are done, and he's all done with everything.
Well, let's
So,
bring
yeah,
up this. Let's bring up
we've got
this.
some
'Cause
time.
this is interesting. All right. So they have the PFF has the quarterback ranking, but they do tiers. So you'll see what quarterbacks are in what tier and stuff. So the first tier they have is tier 1, elite. That's the name of the tier. They have Mahomes. They have
Okay.
how do you pronounce it? Klotz?
Joe
And then they have Lamar Jackson and
Marmar.
Josh Allen. That's the only elite quarterbacks they have. Agree? Anyone disagree with that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the order. I'd slide Josh in front of Lamar.
Just
but
the
top
names?
four.
You think anyone else should be in that elite category, or is that probably the
Nope.
only?
Nope.
All right. And then the next one is high-end starters. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert. I'll tell you my take after we get through the next one. All right.
Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert.
Matthew.
There's someone. Okay, I will say Jared Goff needs to be in the high-end starters.
I agree. I agree with that.
That and I pull this stat out all the time. He has the second, or he's top 4 in quarterback wins over the last 4 years, which people say, oh, that's not a stat. Okay, let's look at the stats then. Since 2022, he's first in yards and first in passing touchdowns. That's pretty high end to me at the end of the day. I don't care if you take someone out. Maybe you just move the high end starters 5 through 9.
So I think he should be in that tier. I don't disagree with that. I think here, I'll just show you the next one. The next one is solid starters who have flashed high-end play. Golf. Geno Smith.
Flashed high-end play.
Purdy.
So disrespectful.
Like flashed. I mean, dude, Geno flashed it for 2 seasons. I mean, what are we doing? What kind of flash are we doing? It's like those soccer games where the chicks like flash the shirts. Like, is that what we're talking about here?
That's good one, Jeff.
That's Geno Smith. That's the type of flash he's showing. All right. It's a quick flash. Jared Goff, it's been like a decade of flash. Brock Purdy, it's been a year. Like, that's why I think
don't give him a year. Give him 2.
2 years. Okay, 2.
To be fair.
But the high-end starter, Goff has proven he's been a high-end starter. You know what I mean? He's proven that at the minimum. So I think he should be in the high-end starter tier. This is a little disrespectful. Like, I just do. I think Brock needs more time to really consider him. And then Geno, I leave Geno here. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's no way. I think you swap Geno and Baker here.
Yeah, because Baker's in the next one, solid starters, but they need more help. Jordan Love, Baker, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence.
CJ Stroud's way too fucking low, and I know he's coming off a.
He should be in the next one. Like, I think solid starters who flashed high end.
Because you haven't seen a clip at all about CJ Stroud out there this offseason. Last year, he's out there with Micah. I think, people are going to be doubting them because of their offensive line as far as offensively. I think CJ Stroud goes off this year. I think he has a fucking year.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Hey, Jeff, welcome to the Jared Goff Stan Club, man. I appreciate you joining. I'll send over your application. You can fill it out, and you're automatically accepted in. You don't need to go through any process. You're in.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, let's bring in our guest here.
Let's go.
Come on.
Pumped
I'm excited
up.
to have him on again, man. Chris Castellani talking some Tigers. We're fired up about it. I mean, you guys.
Tigers did lose though.
Yeah, they got their ass.
that's fine.
Tough one.
It's the perfect time to have Chris on. He thrives in adversity. So this is, he's been through adversity. we're gonna have Chris on to talk about those Tigers. Please welcome the host of Chris and Company. Check it out. He does great work. Chris Castellani. Chris, how we doing, brother?
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for having me. My apologies for being a little late. I didn't know if this was a Twitter-wide thing, but my DMs are currently not working on social media for whatever reason. So apologies, but I appreciate Booner texting me the link and jumping on. Happy to be on here with you guys.
Twitter has been down to. There's been some issues with Twitter today. I've been going through it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. Don't worry about it, Chris.
Right,
we're not even sweating it, man. The Tigers lost today, and this is the question I wanted to pick your brain about, because when we talk about the Tigers, and we've been, I think the big thing right now, the way they're playing record-wise, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the talent discrepancy, I want you to break that down for me. In terms of big picture, like World Series, Dodgers, people talk about World Series hopes and dreams and beating the Dodgers. When you talk about how they measure up to that type of team, can you kind of go into your thought process on how not only can they, what's their route to making a World Series? You think they're capable, but even, and I mean this respectfully, standing a chance against a team that has that much talent. Can you dive into that, the difference there?
No, and it's a fair question to ask, because I think even the biggest Tiger fan in the world would look at our roster compared to, say, the Dodgers roster, or even like the Padres, how do we keep up? I think in terms of how you match up against a team like this, I think that one of the real key strengths that AJ has identified with this team is the fact that, you don't have to win in this game by being more talented, but you can be smarter. You can be more prepared. And I think that's one of the key things that they've honed in on with the amount of hitting we do and the way that he plays the matchups and utilization of all the pitchers and the bullpen. I think that playing smarter is kind of the way to go. And it's tough. Obviously, talent plays in this league, and we saw that in the first series of the year against the Dodgers. I guess another thing that Tiger fans should find comfort in is one thing AJ said that I think some people might I could see him twisting it into a negative, but I think it is a positive, which is he said literally after the Cardinals game yesterday, he goes, "We don't care who we play," which is I think that the whole idea of the Dodgers are coming to town. Oh, the Yankees are coming to town. That's stuff that people like me, the prognosticators, talk about and preview and hype up. The fact is, they just come to the park every day and it's here's the matchups. Here's what you need to do to get better. Here's how we win. It doesn't really matter if they're wearing a Dodger uniform, Yankee uniform, Met uniform, or Guardians uniform, what have you. And I think also, that this is the major thing, and we've seen it happen in baseball over the last, decade plus. A 5 to 7 game sample size is not indicative of how much better or worse a team actually is. You don't need, I think over a 162 game season, you get a much better sense of who the best team is. You don't have to be the best team throughout a season. You got to be the best team in October. And, as we've seen in the past, you get hot over a certain stretch, you could probably beat anyone. The name of the game at this point is punching your ticket to the postseason as many times as possible so you can give yourself those opportunities to play with the big boys in the playoffs.
Chris, I have to ask you this, because we actually had the conversation earlier this week, and it's just been intriguing me since Parker Meadows is kind of starting back and playing baseball again. Can I just get your thought? And I can't remember. I think I asked John Macaroon the other day because I want to get everyone's thought process. When Parker gets back to this team, if you're the manager, Chris, if you're AJ Hinch, what is your movement and how are you moving these guys around to fit Parker in? Because it feels like he's a guy you have to have in the lineup. You can't not have Parker Meadows if he is a full go. How would you kind of handle that situation?
Here's the point I'll make, and this is something that I have been asked about. Parker Meadows is this team's center fielder. I don't, that is a guarantee. Parker Meadows, and I that's not to take anything away from what Hobby's done, but Parker, when you look at what this team has done when he's been in the lineup over the last 2 seasons, he's a massive difference maker. I guess what comes up next is, okay, you move Parker to center. What does the role look like for some other guys on this team? Hobby being the first one that comes to mind. I think when it comes to Hobby, what you end up with is basically a second super utility guy with McKinstry. It's a guy that you can move around the diamond. You can play him at third, short, second. If you want to put him in a corner outfield spot, you can. AJ loves that versatility. He loves to be able to move guys around the diamond and play them in different spots in the lineup. I think that's very important. And it will lead to somebody being on the outside looking in and receiving less playing time. I think that decision, and this is just a hunch, will become easier over time because and we've already kind of seen some regression. I don't see Hobby sustaining an all-star type pace like he did in the first 40 games of the season. And I think this is an area where we haven't really experienced this in the past. all teams, all good teams, have 2 or 3 guys on the bench who are legitimately good hitters that just might not see everyday playing time because the matchups don't dictate it. I think that'll ultimately end up being the case with Parker. I think there will be a difference, a variance between how you play Parker versus lefties versus righties. I think he is your guaranteed leadoff guy against right-handed pitching. He could be somebody that you pinch hit for against a lefty in a late game situation. But, AJ will cross those bridges when he gets to it. But make no mistake, like the second Parker's available to come back, same with Vierling, who should be really close. You're going to slot him in at center field.
Kind of going along with that conversation you just had about Javi there, Chris, you said, yeah, these 40 games that we see so far looks like he could be an all-star. When you look at the all-star, because I saw you ask this on Twitter, and I just want to kind of hear you expand on it more. When you look at this Tigers roster right now, when it comes that time, who do you think will be an all-star from this team?
Yeah, it's so tough because there is a lot of politicking involved with the voting for the all-star game. Like, let's be real, every year there's certain guys who make it in over other players simply because they're more popular players. So I can only go off of I base it on overall performance as well as the kind of politicking that's involved with it. I think the obvious ones are the 2 guys we had last year. Tarek remains one of the best pitchers in the world. Riley has been remarkable once again, even with the kind of, cold stretch that he had at a certain point in May or in April, he's been excellent. Beyond that, I think there's a few main contenders. Obviously, a lot of people kind of point to Carey being, one of the better hitters in this lineup. There's so many good outfielders in this league, man, especially in the AL. And there's a lot of guys you got to jump who are equally as productive and probably more popular as players right now. And this is something that I've been preaching for the last few years, really. This is not a great crop of first basemen in the American League. Right now, Torque probably does fit into that reserve spot. I think him and Ben Rice for the Yankees have legitimate arguments. Beyond that, it gets tougher. You could point to some of the relievers. Canley's been great. Vest has been great. But typically when you're talking about relievers in the All-Star game, they're all the hard throwing, locking down 30-40 save guys. The way that AJ kind of manages his pen, it's kind of by committee. There's no in particular, star. And so it kind of makes it difficult to get into the All-Star game. The other guy that right now I will just put a keep an eye out on, and I never thought I would say this, even this deep into the season, is McKinstry. McKinstry is a top 30 player in WAR right now in baseball. He's moved all around the diamond. And last year we had a former Tiger and Willie Castro who put up weaker numbers than what McKinstry's put up at this point in the campaign, making it to the All-Star game as a utility player. It would be in a reserve role, but potentially something to watch out for. So I would be surprised if we have less than 2. But beyond that, I think it's right now to kind of answer the question. I'd say 3. I do think Torque sustains this. I think Riley sustains this, and obviously Tarek will get in there.
Chris, what the fuck is happening with Jackson Jobe? All right, I think the record's 12-0. I think the at least for a player this young, he's 8-0 when he starts.
Yeah.
The team is. So can you just dive into that? Give me more of your perspective of how he's been finding success and just how special of a player he can really be.
Well, run support has obviously helped the record there, because I'll be honest, some of those games he legitimately didn't even pitch well, and it didn't really it didn't make a difference. What we've seen from Jobe, in my opinion, is the natural progression of a pitcher with a very high ceiling, and it's something that I've brought up a million times, but it's something that I've heard from guys who've pitched in Major League Baseball or guys who've watched other guys pitch in Major League Baseball. The biggest adjustment you're going to see in baseball is the one from AAA to the major leagues. And the fact is, Jobe was a guy who was drafted out of high school and somebody who probably at every single level of baseball that he's ever played has been able to beat guys with his fastball. You get to the major leagues and you're in for a rude awakening the second you realize every guy here is here because they can hit a fastball. And it's a matter of finding those consistent out pitches, finding the right pitch mix. I mean, Tarek was a prime example of that. It wasn't until probably that second, even third year for Skubal when that changeup really became his legitimate swing and miss pitch. There is a lot of trial and error as a pitcher that comes with, okay, is my slider working? Is my changeup working? What I think is most intriguing and positive about him is the fact that when it works, and it's kind of a roll of the dice, but when he's working, there's 5 pitches that have the potential to be legit swing and miss pitches. It's very rare for a guy that young to be able to have that kind of refined repertoire, so to speak. He has struggled with command, and I think as a rookie, there's going to be those games where he'll go 6 strong and we'll think we'll be, blown away, and he'll strike out 10. And there will be those nights where he's letting up free passes. I think the most important thing for him continue going forward, and it's something that's been preached by Feder and everyone on this coaching staff. He needs to find more consistency with the strike throwing. When he does, the stuff is beyond 90% of major league pitchers. Like, he's going to get there.
Hey, Chris, I know this is very, very premature, but I have heard, and I think it just might be a thing because of the past years. We've had this trade deadline conversation. Are the Tigers buyers, sellers? And this has been a really big topic last year, especially. I know it's 2 months out, but if you had to, let's just say, because we did talk about this on Tuesday, if you were in that position as well, like, hey, do we need to go out and get pieces? What pieces would you add to this team? Because obviously we just had the conversation of how deep they are at some positions. Is there somewhere like the bullpen that you would add pieces at the trade deadline in July?
It's so tough because I'm going to assume that Vierling and Meadows and Wenzel come back and are essentially the players they were a year ago. Because there's no guarantee. I mean, it's been a long layoff. If they come back and struggle, we might be having a different conversation. To me, when I look at this team, I think the starting pitching is set. I think that pitching as a whole is very good. And all bullpens are fragile. I do think, and this is an issue that has gone back, to face them even a year ago. It's a good bullpen, and you have guys that can be productive, and it's a deep bullpen. I think what you're missing is that very high strikeout, hard throwing reliever in your bullpen. I'm not saying it's got to be a 30 save a year guy who's exclusively pitching the 9th inning, but just somebody who has the ability to miss bats with a level of consistency that I feel like some of these other relievers don't necessarily have. Other things, who else you acquire, a lot of it is dependent on injuries and performance. But when I look at this team, do I think the offense, top to bottom, is something where I see a bunch of stars? No, but they make it work. They make it work, and they play the match top to bottom, and they put together pretty good at bat. I don't really see a single position right now offensively where I view it as a glaring weakness or something that they plan on changing come deadline time. I do think with any team, you can always go out and acquire more pitching, and you can always acquire more pitching by not having to necessarily sell the farm, which I know is very important to Scott Harris at this point. So I would say somebody who is a high leverage, high strikeout reliever would probably be the way to go.
And we were talking about Meadows earlier, Chris, and another guy coming back from injury is and very significant as well as Jake Rogers. But the thing with Jake Rogers is you look at Dingler lately. I mean, he's been playing some good baseball. So going forward, how do you think they manage having those two guys behind the mound or behind the plate?
AJ obviously was a catcher, as a lot of baseball managers are. And so I think, and this is just my guess right now, I think that he will allow whoever that day's starting pitcher is to choose who catches them. I think that's really important to AJ. I think it's important to these pitchers that they make sure that they're being caught by whoever they're comfortable with. At the same time, the numbers speak for themselves, and Dingler has not only hit his way into the lineup, but he's just hit, period. I mean, he's one of the only guys who hit tonight. He's consistently gotten big hit after big hit. I think that as we go deeper into the season, it's going to be 60-40 and potentially even by the end of the campaign 70-30 in terms of Ding getting those reps. I do still think we get Jake for Scooble starts and maybe even my starts because they came up together in the minors. But the one thing that is true and where I think it makes AJ's decision even more difficult in a lot of ways is the fact that typically a baseball team, you have the offensive first catcher and you have the defensive first catcher, and they kind of trade spots. Dingler is not a bad defensive catcher. He might not be to the level that Jake Rogers is, but he's got a great arm. And Tarek is a huge reason for this. When Jake was out, the stretch that Tarek had where he was that overwhelmingly dominant, that was all with Dingler behind the plate. So I do think that will be taken into account the deeper we get into the season. And I think Jake has done a lot of good things here. I know the pitchers like him, AJ likes him, but this offense has really thrived this year as a pretty patient offense. I think Dingler's been a contributing factor to that. So I think as we go deeper, AJ is going to have a bit of a tougher decision to make about how often you play him over Jake.
Hey, Chris, to follow that up, and it might be an embarrassing question, but it's just something that I do want to learn because I played baseball growing up, but I've never really followed the MLB, and this year I've definitely started getting in the Tigers. Can you explain the difference to me between an offensive catcher and a defensive catcher?
I mean, it's simply a defensive catcher is a guy who will play 15 years in the big leagues, and you'll look at his baseball reference page, and there will be nothing that stands out. I mean, there's guys like Martin Maldonado's of the world, Jeff Mathis. There's guys who played in the majors for 15, 16, 17 years with almost zero offensive production, but they were so important behind the plate. And I just did an interview on Chris Company this week where he talked about it. In terms of defensive, importance, there is no position that compares to catcher. There's no position that can steal strikes, steal outs, take away runs quite like that position. So there is that willingness to sacrifice defense for offense because you feel like, it helps your pitching. But there are, those best of both world guys like the JT Realmutos, the Buster Posies, Pudge Rodriguez when he was here, who just do both really well. But typically, I think the way that teams align themselves is they want to have that one elite pitch framer, elite game caller with a great arm, but you don't want to have an automatic out 100% of the time. And I think the goal coming into this season was that Dingler was probably going to be the primary offensive catcher, but with the way he's played and the efficiency that he's had behind the dish as well, I think it's going to make for a tougher decision.
Hey, I just want to throw this out there real quick, Chris. Lions schedule came out. Did you have a record prediction for the Detroit Lions?
I had 11-6. And it's,
okay.
I think people will probably view that as slightly pessimistic. I think it is one of the most brutal road schedules I've ever seen, not just for the Lions, but like for anybody. And I think that there are legitimately, just as a whole, 8 or 9 losable games. I put them at 6. It could be up to 5, or it could be a 12-5, just because I think that over the last few years, because last year's schedule was tough too. They're always up to the challenge and they're always ready to go. I just think that it's such a gauntlet of a schedule, especially a road schedule, that there might be 1 or 2 games that they lose, similar to the Buffalo game last year, where they're just gassed. Like they just reach a point where, it's hard to win in this league. One thing somebody brought up to me that I think is fair is the bye week is more favorable this year. Last week, their bye week was week 4. So they had basically 13 consecutive weeks of straight football, so that is something that is important. And I think that with the injuries they had, especially, that kind of killed them. But I got 6 because I do think the division as a whole is going to be better. I'm going to have to take a deeper dive into the other teams in the division to see how they'd stack up record wise, but I expect them, I'm not saying records are relevant, but I expect them to be back in the thick of things in the NFC, despite, maybe losing 5-6 games.
Yeah. It's funny to me that one win could start a war, the difference. I mean, we had 12-5, Lucas had 11-6, and we argued for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I got absolutely obliterated by Boone for saying 11-6.
Yeah. So it's not, it's relatively close, but Chris, we appreciate
Come on, Chris. Give him a little more credit. No, I'm kidding.
I'm still locked into baseball mode. So I took one look and I'm like, 6. All right, sure. Yeah. So I'll do a deeper dive at some point as we get closer into the season for sure.
Yeah, that road schedule's fucking brutal.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's brutal. Go check out Chris and company. He does great work. Chris, we appreciate you joining. As always, my friend, and keep up the great work. We'll talk to you soon.
Of course. Always appreciate you guys. Have a good one now.
Thanks,
Chris.
Chris Castellani, joined the program, talking to the fellas.
Legend, man.
Yeah, absolute legend. Dude. He knows. I was telling you, man. He knows. Guy knows baseball.
He does, dude.
He knows every sport, but you could tell the passion when he's talking about the game. It's impressive. It's inspiring, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he locked in on that one, the offensive and defensive catcher, and okay, very well understood. I was expecting a quick little 30-second answer, and he locked in. Gave me all the details.
I love it.
Shout out to him.
Hey, I wanted to bring this up because the last couple of days we haven't really been able to. But have you guys seen the Shamar Stewart stuff?
Yeah, dude. I think this is ridiculous, to be honest.
Dude, Shamar Stewart has not signed his rookie contract yet.
I don't think their second round pick has either.
So, all right. Can I clarify this real quick just to make it? There are a lot of rookies who have not signed their deals yet. Ty Leak just signed his yesterday. Or maybe he didn't just sign it, but they just announced officially he signed it. Isaac Tesla officially got his signed a couple days ago. There's a handful of rookies who don't sign it, but they all participate in offseason workouts without signing their deal. Shamar Stewart's the only rookie that's not participating in offseason workouts. That's crazy. So it has, to me, it's all right, didn't sign it, fine. There's disagreements all the time with rookie deals and agents and teams. The working out part is that's crazy.
You know what I'll say about it is I think the Bengals are being ridiculous about this whole thing because Shamar, I read somewhere that Shamar is asking for basically what the last 2 Bengals first-round picks got, like
Which is probably
language-wise.
fair.
Language-wise, and he got picked like a pick or 2 after Gray Zabel, and it's like he wants like a similar language with what Gray Zabel got or something. So it's not like he's asking for. It's like, oh, this guy's being a diva. I think the Bengals are being cheap. They're being cheap. That's why they're being a little ridiculous right now. And I know Shamar doesn't have a ton of leverage because he's a rookie, but like, it's just the way you do business. You know what I mean? Like you've drafted the last couple first round picks have all gotten a similar type of deal, and then you fucking just give Shamar Stewart try to pull a fast one on him or something. It's like, what are you doing?
I think it's just both ways. Like I agree with you. I think the Bengals organization right now is just whoever's running it. They're in a bad spot. Again, I do think though, like there are still a lot of rookies who are in negotiations with teams on their deals. I don't think that's like an abnormal thing, especially for rookie deals. Like what's his name? Just signed today. From New York, the Edge. I don't know why I'm not thinking of his name. Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter just signed his today, and he's been doing workouts for weeks now. So I don't know if it's the Bengals being cheap or what. I think the Bengals organization is a dumpster fire. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're in the wrong, though. I think every rookie goes through it. I think you should be at mini camp and you should be practicing if you're a rookie. He's the only rookie not doing it. There are rookies that are going through negotiations as we speak. He's the only rookie.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are wrong and Shamar is wrong for not participating. You know what I mean? It's just
because there are teams that don't want to give certain contracts to rookies right now. It's just not being talked about because the rookies are playing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
See what I'm saying? Or am I?
No, I still believe the Bengals are completely wrong, but I think Shamar's wrong too. So I get like they're both wrong. You know what I mean? They're both
Bengals are just such a weird.
Like the Bengals, the reason why it's probably I don't know if it's because of how ridiculous it is, or it's because it's the Bengals and they're already cheap, and now they're getting cheap accusations again. So everyone's like, reporting it. But yeah, I don't know.
It is, yeah,
it is what it is.
It's
drop
such
your
a
question.
weird. I
Drop
hate
your
it.
questions, man. We got 10 minutes. Let's get the mailbag. So if you got any questions, thoughts, concerns, anything, drop them. Drop them in the chat.
Shift God drop some comments for Booner.
Oh, this is wow! What a show! Appreciate Chris, man. He did some great work today. He did some great.
He did. He's locked in.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, look at we got Malik saying Shamar Stewart looking like Isaiah Wilson of D-line rookies. Too early to tell, but bro should be practicing.
Did Isaiah Williams hold out?
Isaiah Wilson.
Oh, the other. I don't know if it's Isaiah Wilson, the guy from the Bengals.
Is that
Is it
the
Peyton
second
Wilson?
round pick?
No, Isaiah Wilson.
Is he offensive lineman?
That's the he's
Burton. That's what I'm thinking of.
He was the tackle with the Titans who ended up getting he like flared out of the league. Remember that?
Oh.
You guys remember that?
Is he from Georgia?
I just don't like to start for Shamar, if I'm being honest. And I was a big Shamar guy, so I'm over here a little like, dude, what are you doing? Go to practice. Like, go practice.
Maybe they're saying,
I
hey,
remember that Isaiah Wilson.
only 4.5 career sacks. We're not going to pay you like the guys, but more than that. Took you 18.
You shouldn't care, dude. You're a rookie. You have nothing to stand on besides other people's contracts. Again, like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, there are other rookies right now who do not have a deal and they are playing. Like Ty Lee going through the last 2 weeks, and they just announced yesterday. He could have easily been like, nope, I'm out. Didn't.
Hey,
he's a dog.
Patty Graham says, Mailbag, what's one thing in Lions football history you would change if you could? I got one.
49ers game.
Well, I was going to say Josh Reynolds catching the football.
Catching the ball.
Drafting.
Or Kendall Vildor actually intercepting the ball and not hitting the ball off his head for basically a touchdown.
That's a good one.
Just any play in that game that I know would win that game. Go ahead, Klotz.
That's fine. Drafting Justin Herbert instead of Jeff Okudah.
Oh, Klotz, you dialed in on that. I like that, Klotz.
It's actually a really good one.
Yeah, he pulled that one out of left field. I didn't expect that one.
Do you know how
Wow.
I'm not going to.
Would you have the same team? Would you have the same team?
That's the question. That's the
you
question.
Probably would not have the same team. I take away Jared Goff. You might not have specific guys on this team that you
because they wouldn't have made the trade for Goff,
and you don't get all those guys from that trade.
No, but
you might not get Penei Sewell. You might not.
No.
You might not. You might have
That
if you have Justin Herbert, you might have a different pick. I would rather change. I would rather change a play to go to the Super Bowl.
I would have loved, and you're absolutely spot on. I'm just looking down this hypothetical window where you still have Brad Holmes as your GM, Dan Campbell as your head coach, and you had Ben Johnson and Justin Herbert for 2 to 3 years.
But you don't have JMO. You might not have Penei.
You still got Brad Holmes, baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would probably just do. I'd probably just do Josh Reynolds to catch one pass to win the game, end the game, and get a first down. And
hey, Klotz. I mean, I'm still gonna go 49ers, but I didn't even that one doesn't.
It's a good one.
Cross my mind. Yeah, that's an interesting one. There's so many more.
I was just thinking of like the bust, like and who you could have drafted instead. That would have like changed the trajectory of this franchise.
I would have. I would have gone back and drafted Tom Brady back in whatever draft class that was.
Rats.
Tom Brady. You're
You're
winning
so
second. Maybe
you don't give him Bill. Who was the Lions head coach?
So Dom, real quick, he said Penei was your own draft capital, Booner. I'm talking about if you get Justin Herbert, you might win another game or two. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, it's like butterfly effect.
What pick or what year was Justin Herbert compared to Penei?
I think the year after.
Oh, so maybe you still do have Penei then. That's on me, Dom. Hey, Dom, you're right. That's on me.
And guess what? He blocked for Justin Herbert.
Oh, so that is actually kind of crazy.
Oh, he was blocking for him.
Do you think that Penei was like? Do you think Penei was trying to make calls like behind the scenes? Do you think Penei Sewell was like texting Brad, being like, "My guy,
well,
Justin Herbert"?
Herbert was before.
Oh, then they wouldn't have got Penei. Then that's on me. Yeah, no, I take back my apology to Dom. They would have won an extra game his rookie year, and they wouldn't have had a chance to get Penei.
He probably would have sat.
No, he was playing.
Jeff Driscoll was taking reps.
Oh, that was that year? I thought
around that time, Kenny Galladay was catching touchdown passes from Jeff Driscoll on Thanksgiving
then never mind.
Day.
No, you're right. Sorry, I thought they were.
I take back my Dom apology. I thought Herbert went the year after Penei. He went the year before. I take that back.
Yep.
Let's see. Steve-O baby says, Mailbag, are you guys going to watch a Hall of Fame game when it comes to the Lions?
I'm trying to go.
Oh,
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to be there.
We'll probably stream. We'll probably
we'll be live. I mean, Klotz, you can go. I mean, go out there.
That's a fun place. Hall of Fame. Yeah.
We'll be live regardless, somehow, some way. So we'll definitely be live for that. Mailbag says, do you think there was Malik says, Mailbag, do you think there'll be a point in time where quarterback play is so good to the point where even solid starters are getting replaced? Also, what does a Jake Bates extension look like?
Not really worried about Jake Bates extension. Yeah, you just pay him a kicker. You just pay the kicker. If you have
like
a good one,
3-year deal.
Yeah, I don't think the money of a kicker ever.
So good that
a couple $1 million. Now the quarterback play question. That's a really good question.
I feel like it would all kind of like stay exponential though. Like if you're having really good quarterback play, like throughout the league, the new standard for solid starters would change. You know what I mean? Like if there's more elite guys,
because
more guys, then you start calling less guys elite, and the elite guys that were start dropping down.
Yeah, there's always going to be categories for guys. You know what I mean? Like even if a guy's really good, they're still going to be like, well, he's a solid starter that can.
I just got what he said. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm interpreting that the right way, I might not be.
Yeah, I think he's saying solid starters in the NFL. That they start getting replaced right now. Like average starters will get replaced pretty easily.
Yeah,
because he's saying solid starters, guys like Geno. I mean, it's kind of happening already. Like it's Sam Darnold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fair.
I would say
it's going to get to a point, like to what Malik's saying, like where you can't get away with having, like you're not going to have these guys that are like starting that are. Try to think of like a good comp, like Daniel Jones or like Anthony Richardson.
I don't think those are solid starters. Those are like prove it guys.
So like
The
Geno
solid
would be the one.
Geno or like Sam Darnold.
Like Justin Fields won't be
Yeah, there
around
you
too
go.
often. But I do think the teams that will be patient with quarterbacks, those I think long term will be the teams that win.
And I think there will always be a world where teams are too patient. Like in my opinion, like Tua,
Like Anthony Richardson, like with the Colts,
Yeah.
they should have drafted a quarterback.
but like even like an example like Tua, who's like established in the league, but it's like you're just not winning with him.
I think
It's like at what point do you move on? And I think there's going to get to a point where I think teams always will do that because they always are like, there's that, Kyler, like there's that like hope, like he's going to turn, and it's like, all right, we're on year 4, year 5. When is he going to take that step? Oh, and some teams always like, I think that's just like a human element of a GM, like refusing to say
If that's their guy, you're tied to him.
Yeah, like Daniel Jones in New York getting that extension. That was a tough one.
Arch Manning, he'll be a Colt next year.
I don't know.
Maybe he might stay another year.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones is going to actually get some wins there.
Dude,
to be honest,
if they don't like the team who's picking
They'll
number
win.
1,
They'll
they
probably
try
win.
throwing that tantrum for Eli with the Chargers. They'll just tell Arch to take another year of NIL money.
They'll probably win 5-6 games.
Colts.
hold on. No, I want to pull something up real quick.
They just don't have
Jeff.
enough. They're not good defensively. They don't have a good quarterback. Like I don't know what's the path.
Hey, you know
And
the
I-
name to watch?
If you bring up a schedule right now, Boone, it ain't gonna change what I'm thinking.
No, I want to throw this up real quick.
Oh, here we go.
I saw this the other day. Dude, let's go stat by stat real quick. Just to open the eyes. They played the exact amount of games.
Oh,
Daniel Jones wins in that.
It doesn't change anything.
No, just hold on. Total yards. Trevor Lawrence, 200 more yards. 300. I'll give him 300. Passing touchdowns, 69 and 46. Daniel Jones has less interceptions. 4 less interceptions.
and more playoff wins.
Yeah, same playoff wins. They each have 1, I believe.
Watch your mouth.
Passer rating, basically the exact same. Hold on, Jeff. This exact same. Completion percentage, Daniel Jones. This is identical. Like, this
Throwing
is
to Darius
identical.
Slayton.
These are identical
You know what
stats.
this is to me? You know what this is to me? You're the type
He was
of
on
guy.
a worse team.
No, you're the type of guy that's
He was on the worst team.
Hold on. You're the type of guy. You remember that graphic people were throwing around where it was Russell Wilson and Pat Mahomes?
No, this is so different.
That's no stats. All the stats are the same.
But Daniel Jones, all I'm saying is I think Daniel Jones is going to be a little bit better than people think in Indy. I think he wins that job and he kind of revitalizes his career a little bit. And I saw this and the other day and I was like, this is exactly what I was saying about the Daniel Jones stuff in Indy. And I when I saw that, it gave me a little bit of
he'll throw 19 touchdowns.
No, he'll throw more. If he gets the job, he's going to throw 20 something. It'll be in the 20s.
I'm trying to look what
21.
the most improved player, Daniel Jones odds. They might be
Okay,
sneaky.
all right, let's get out of here. This is a perfect time.
He's gonna play some ball now.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
He is. Yeah, if he wins that job, dude,
Play
he's
some
one of those
ball.
guys. I think he was in a bad spot.
Junior.
He was in a bad spot in New York. If you put him in the right spot.
Neighbors, he couldn't pass the ball to him.
No, he didn't.
I don't know what's going on. Hey, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Hey,
I just wanted to
Chris.
troll. I was trying to troll him, and he just did not.
Didn't take the bait. We'll be back tomorrow. Much love to you all.
Love you guys. Even shift God.
Chef said,